Who needs waterboarding when you can have government training films?
A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello and welcome to another episode of A Very Odd Caster. Now, last week left our audience very confused and perplexed. All two of you. We're a little confused by the second part of the program. And so I'm going to come clean because that's the kind of stand-up guy that I am. So last week was a busy one. A lot going on. Didn't really have too much time on my hands. And so I was coming up a little short with material and I needed something to fill in the space. So I came across a Army training film that I stumbled upon doing some unrelated research on the Archives website. So I just rolled that because I found it quite amusing. It wasn't intended to be amusing, but that's kind of the whole point. But it was sort of like back in school when your teacher would, I don't know, he or she might have something else they have to attend to, and they just play a movie for the whole class instead of teach anything, right? And the movie has some sort of relation to the lesson, but we all know better. It's kind of a day off, right? So the last half of last week's show featured an Army training film from 1970, geared towards women entering the military, the Army in particular, and showing them how to use proper etiquette and manners. So 1970, of course, was a long time ago. And the whole thing was just pretty ridiculous. And like most training films, the people in the film portraying the characters were a mix of actual Army personnel and what I call ANOs. That would be actors in name only. They were hired to play the part of these service women and men. And there's so much to unpack there. And, it called to mind the old show, Mystery Science Theater 3000, which was on many, many years and still has a big following. And so I kind of think I'd like to explore that particular Army training film in that kind of a format, the Mystery Science Theater format. And so I am going to be providing commentary throughout the production. Again, last week, little context was provided. So both of you were probably saying, what the hell is going on here? So I want to provide some context. I want to break it down for you. Every excruciating scene by excruciating scene. Every line by line, word for word. And so now I proudly present to you, courtesy of public domain, the United States Army 1970 training film for women and etiquette in the military. The name's Bond, Gomer Pyle Bond.
I really got to get it.
Oh my God.
I keep forgetting. He's not an officer, so I let him open the door.
An officer and a gentleman? Or an officer and a dork?
Right?
I never know which one to use.
I use the one Charlie Manson uses.
Oh well, I wasn't too hungry anyway.
Oh, no. No one's talking to the guest of honor.
That's because you forgot your deodorant.
Good manners, social grace, and courtesy are the mark of the successful service woman. They can also be used to describe successful people in all walks of life.
Especially those who want to iron my shirt. Just kidding.
Knowing what to do in specific situations is a matter of custom, instinct, education, and good taste.
And shitty filmmaking.
Wow, I really thought I was going to catch it.
I suspect that you did catch it and spread it as well.
Did she talk to you about it? Yeah, she talked to me about it. And wow, man, you could have knocked me over with a pin.
Wow, man, the cue cards are like upside down.
Say, that's a beautiful dress. Where did you get it?
Say, that's a beautiful dress.
Where did I... Oh, I bought it at Lorman's last Thursday.
You know, I wish I could wear one of those. They're really cute, but, well, I guess they're a little young for me.
But then again, I like them young.
But I thought, well, that you didn't dig. Oh, excuse me, ma'am. Well, that you didn't like mini skirts and clothes like that.
No, now, that's not exactly right. We do have certain ideas about how you should look in your uniform,
Yes,
about the
ma'am.
tailoring, the fit, and how it should be kept. And I guess sometimes we do express these feelings rather strongly.
Yes, ma'am.
But really, that only applies to your uniform. How you dress in your off-duty hours is another matter.
So, can I watch you change tonight?
Now, we do expect the girls to show good taste in everything they wear, but that really shouldn't keep you from expressing your own individuality or personality and selection of clothes, hairstyles, and makeup.
And by the way, did you take any medication for that twitch?
Yes, ma'am.
Take miniskirts, for example. I think they're great, and you look good in them.
In fact, you look so good, I'm starting to have hot flashes.
And I really feel the same way about a lot of the other new and exciting styles. They're all fine, in the right place and at the right time. Well, you might say that's the key to the whole thing, the right place and at the right time.
And so how about my place later?
And I feel the same way about makeup and jewelry. Because, well, you'd probably look a little dowdy if you didn't wear, you know, more dramatic makeup in the evening, something that would set off your costume.
Yes, ma'am.
But, well, I really have no argument with any of it, so long as it's appropriate and worn at the right time.
Look, she's high.
Wow.
Wow, these barracks mushrooms are to die for.
I really never knew you thought that way about it, Captain York.
Well, I can't wear many of the new styles myself, but I like them. In fact, I think they're just fine.
Well, between you and I, Captain York, a lot of the people around here would be very surprised. You know, some of the girls think that she's old-fashioned and I don't know, just out of it. But let me tell you something, girls. Anybody that thinks that about Captain York
Hey, but where am I supposed to be looking at?
is like making really one big mistake. You know,
She happens to be an absolutely groovy person and really a swinger.
Well, there you have it. She's a swinger.
Anyway, I'm glad to see that running into Captain York didn't spoil your evening.
It didn't at all.
Well, that's great, because mine was such a mess.
Really? What went wrong?
Everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong.
Let's put the camera here. No. Let's put it here. No, here. No, here. No, here.
Well, they were all little things, but boy, they really added up and wrecked my evening. The whole thing started in the restaurant. Even ordering the food was a big problem.
Not only is this guy a 5-star general, he's also got eyes in the back of his head.
Roast beef. Yes, roast beef medium rare. And then I would like to have, No, I'm sorry. The gentleman would like the baked potato.
I want a baked potato.
Yeah.
You want roast beef, sir? No, the lady would like to have the roast beef.
I'm terribly sorry. Yes.
No, that's all right. It's all right.
I would like the roast beef medium rare.
Right.
And then I would like to have...
With the baked potato.
With the
No.
baked
Sour
potato.
cream.
It was a mess, all right. A real mess.
Cinematic moments like these bring tears to my eyes.
And both of us talking at the same time.
Wow.
Wow, these wrinkles don't come out.
The orders got so mixed up, like it was just terrible.
Well, that shouldn't give you any trouble, Sandy. That's really no problem at all. You can find out all about that kind of stuff in any book of etiquette.
I can?
Sure. Here, I'll explain to you how it works.
All you have to remember is to always tell your escort what you'd like to have, and then let him place the order for you.
Who? You mean Two-Face over here?
That's right, Sandy. Just tell Frank.
I would like the shrimp cocktail, please.
Hey, I ain't no shrimp cocktail.
Roast beef with a baked potato and a tossed salad.
Did someone say tossed salad?
Very good.
Good evening, sir. Madam. You care to order now?
Yes, the lady would like the shrimp cocktail.
Yes, the lady said I had a shrimp cocktail.
Roast beef, medium rare, the baked potato, and a tossed salad.
He listens so well.
What sort of dressing would you like on that?
Oh, Russian, please.
Ah, yes, Russian. Nothing more appropriate to have in a U.S. Army training film. And just like that, half the country thinks I'm a spy. I got Betty Davis eyes.
Listen to me giving you all the answers as if I knew all about it. Sandy, don't let it fool you. I get into plenty of messes myself.
Do?
Oops, maybe I should wait until she finishes saying her line first.
I sure do. Well, just the other night, when I was on my way out with Tom,
It was only a little thing, but it was so confusing. I have to stop and think these days, because I can't remember when I'm supposed to open the door and when I'm not.
Don't open that door. I ran out of Glade.
Well, all day long I open doors. And stand when I talk to the officers I work with.
Hello, Lieutenant Von Binary. How are you? Hey, what's he doing in the VD clinic?
After 1,700 hours, this little pumpkin changes and becomes the lady.
Oh, attention! I've got a few sores to check out. Oh, no, not really. Hey, let's go eat at McDonald's.
And they open doors for me.
Hey, next time, can you kiss me on my other cheek?
I mean, it just takes a little thought and a little remembering once in a while, but it's all worthwhile. I mean, well, I really enjoyed this being a girl.
Oh,
It's so great.
Well, my dear, I'm glad to see you've got all your problems solved.
My date doesn't hang out at the VD clinic like yours, but he does have a secret room in his cellar where I can hear people crying out for help. Otherwise, he's a swell guy.
I could say the same about myself.
Oh, come on, Sandy. Maybe you're exaggerating.
I'm not.
It couldn't have gone that bad.
Oh, it couldn't, huh?
Oh, okay. Come on, tell Mama all about it. What happened?
It took Meryl Streep several years to develop her acting chops. I think we should give this girl a little time, don't you?
Now listen, you know I don't embarrass easily. But man, as soon as we got in that restaurant, I knew I was in trouble. I didn't know which one to use, and I didn't want to look like a fool.
Then again, the other side of his face looked like Shrek's. I have to go potty.
But that's easy, Sandy. You don't have to worry about a thing like that. I used to get bugged by that too, but no more.
Oh no. I have a plethora of problems. My girdle ripped when I sat down, my IBS is acting up again, and I don't have any Tums. And worst of all, I don't know who to vote for.
That's right, Sandy. That's right. The outside one.
But that wasn't all. Oh, there's my favorite chaplain. Excuse me a minute. I'll be right back.
Excuse me, are you two swingers?
How are you today? I'm so happy to see you. Oh, Chaplain Mills, I would like you to meet a friend of mine, Frank Parker. Frank, I would like you to meet Mrs.
Come on, Sandy, you can do it. Just remember the rules. Always present the gentleman to the lady.
Hey, can you see this pimple? Is it ready to pop by chance?
Always mention the lady's name first. It's simple.
Mrs. Mills, Chaplain Mills, may I present Sergeant Parker?
Are you any relation to Sergeant Carter? Well, I come here to get serviced all the time.
People think it's easy, that there's nothing to the social responsibilities a girl has in the service. They just don't understand. I even have the same trouble with Tom.
What's the big deal?
You should see me polish my toes.
Sure, what's so tough about that?
What's so tough? Well, you may not realize it, but there's a lot to setting up an affair like this. It just doesn't happen, you know. Well, I would say that the first thing we have to do is to get organized and decide what kind of party we want, where we're going to get the money, how much money we want to spend, things like that. You know, this is a very important event, and, well, I really think we should have a sit-down dinner.
No, I don't think that's necessary. Possibly a nice morning coffee. Besides, this time of the month, not too many of us have money to spend to afford a dinner.
Spit it out.
Well, I think it ought to be a reception buffet myself.
No, coffee.
No, I think it really should be a dinner.
No, I think it ought to be a
we can
buffet.
get the money up if we really try.
No. I think a buffet would be better.
We
People
finally decided on a reception buffet.
The next thing we had to do was find out how much the unit fund could afford to give us, and that took some doing. And then we had to set up a committee to help select the food and beverages, and that was also a lot of time and a lot of work. And then one of my jobs was to figure out who to invite and to get the invitations out.
Can I borrow your lipstick?
Making another big mistake.
I didn't say it was easy, Susan. I didn't say that.
And then I spent all afternoon with the first sergeant helping to set up the receiving line. And then after that we had to check and make sure everything was according to regulation. Well, I'm glad that's all over with. But there'll still be 1,000 things to do at the reception itself. I mean, I'll be so glad when tomorrow's over. No.
So you farted on her?
Told you you'd have a good time. What's there to do at a reception?
Is that so? Well, let me tell you what can happen if all you think about is just having a good time. We could have had a very embarrassing situation on our hands if it hadn't been handled correctly. There's more to it, Tom, than just having a good time. As an aide, I have to see that it all runs smoothly, that each name is passed on to the line correctly.
Are you the real Jane Hathaway? Are you the real Jane Hathaway? Are you the real Jane Hathaway?
Fran, we purposely avoided having tables and chairs at this party so everybody would talk and mingle a lot more, and here are you girls having your own little private party going. Come on, get with it. Hey, girls, wouldn't you like to come and meet the new Sergeant Major? Come on, she's over there, okay?
Hey.
Hey, I'm the real Jane Hathaway.
I'm sorry, sweetie. I didn't mean to put you down.
You've got a booger on your nose.
Good appearance, social graces, personal development of this kind pays off in career advancement, social acceptance, and personal fulfillment. A pretty good deal.
instead of Mystery Science Theater, it would be Mystery Government Training Film Theater, something like that. I'm going to have to mine the National Archives for more inspiration. Switching gears. The NBA playoffs have now headed into sort of the final phase, the semifinal phase. We're down to the final four right now. You've got LA and Denver out west, LA Lakers and Denver out west. And you've got Boston and the upstart Miami Heat in the east. These playoffs have been very, very interesting because the higher seed has lost half of all the series so far. In every round, the first round and then the last round that's now completed. And so you have these four still standing. You've got the number 2 seed of the East, Boston, versus the number 8 seed, Miami. And out west, you've got the number 1 seed, Denver, and the number 7 seed, the LA Lakers. I was reading one article from Yardbarker, the sports site, and they were twisting themselves into a pretzel to argue that this year's Final Four in the NBA proves that the bubble year of 2020 during COVID was legit. And the reason they make this argument is because the same 4 teams, Boston versus Miami, Denver versus LA, are in the Final Four. Okay. I kind of noticed that myself, but it's more like, what a coincidence, right? There's no way the bubble was not a strange thing that you really can't help but put some sort of a mental asterisk up against it. Because in 2020, they suspended the season in March. They stopped playing till the summer. I forget how many months it was, but it was several months. Why is that important? Because all those injured players got to heal. You have no idea what would have happened if they kept playing a normal schedule. And then it wasn't anywhere near an 82-game schedule. I can't remember if they went right to the playoffs or not. I think they did. I think they went right from whatever point they were in March of 2020, and then they pulled the plug on the season because COVID had arrived. I think after 3 months, 4 months, whatever, they started up the playoffs, and the teams that weren't in the playoffs were sent home or something. I can't remember. It was just so messed up. And of course, the Lakers came out of it. LeBron got another ring. Congratulations, LeBron. But the whole thing was really strike-shortened seasons and lockout-shortened seasons have that slight stench of illegitimacy to them, because when you reduce the number of games, the injury factor is huge because you don't know what would have happened. So I'm not buying that the fact that the same 4 teams are in this year's Final Four of the NBA as making the bubble year legitimate. The other thing is that these teams have changed, especially the Lakers. The Lakers are a totally different team from what they were in February. They made a bunch of trades. I'll give the guy props. Polinsky, Rob, whatever. The GM who, I don't know. He's definitely building for the short term. But he did a pretty good job turning a garbage team into a team that's playing the best basketball of any team. It would not shock me if the Lakers win it all. But I don't know. I don't really have a prediction. Boston seems to be flirting with disaster. I think if Boston mails it in for a couple games like they did against both Atlanta and Philly, Miami may beat them. Miami's just an overachieving team, you know. Denver can definitely beat LA, but again, LA's playing really good. So do I have a prediction? I would like Denver to win. So, but I don't know. You could see Miami and the Lakers, which would be a rematch of the bubble year. And it would be the 8th seed versus the 7th seed. That's something else. And this was an 82-game season, so this has been a very strange year in the world of professional basketball. And one more NBA note. The sad and unfortunate case of one Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies, who has been about my favorite young player in the league. I started watching him when he was at Murray State, and I started rooting for the guy because I'm like, this guy is so good. Why is he at Murray State? Why isn't he at one of the big schools? And so I really started cheering for the guy. And he's a great player. In fact, I said that New Orleans, I think, had the top pick. They should have picked him over Zion because Zion is injury prone, and he is. But Ja Morant is now proving himself to be not very bright with his gangsta stuff. All right. He was suspended for 8 games during the season, down the stretch of the season. And I think that disrupted the flow of the Memphis team. And when they got to the playoffs, the Lakers bounced them out. They were ripe for the taking. Distractions, right? You don't need distractions if you want to win a championship. And so Ja Morant likes to get on social media, live stream, pull out his gun, wave it around like he's a gangster, Yeah, he's just having fun. I don't think he's like a threat to society. But it's stupid. He's in a different bracket now, man. He's a millionaire. He's an NBA player, one of the select few. And he's not going to be in that elite class for that much longer if he keeps doing these stupid things. Now, as of today, this most recent incident, backing up here. So he went through rehab. He was suspended for 8 days, doing all this soul searching, told people at the end of the season that his goal was to get his act together off the court. I'm just paraphrasing, right? But it's in so many words, he was saying, I need to get my act together off the court. So 3 weeks later, he's back on social media waving a gun. Now, what we don't know is the timestamp. Apparently, it was live, so it just happened, if that's the case. But I don't know. I didn't see it. Maybe it was an old video. That's really the only thing that would save his butt right now. Because, he probably should get shut down for a while. Because he's obviously not learning his lesson. And one of these days, he's going to be waving his gun at the wrong person. And that person is going to wave his gun back at him and pull the trigger. Okay, so I'm going to march on out of here. See what I did there? Okay. But before I do, please, any suggestions, comments, reflections, poetry, please send them to veryoddcaster@gmail.com. That's veryoddcaster@gmail.com. Have a good day, and we will see you next time. There she was, just walking down the street, saying dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee 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 dee.